and receive alerts on different documents. So this is showing you the different the alerts and exceptions to those policies that have been requested. And then the graph below is showing you your drive exposure since your last sync with Flash Panel. So this activity means, for example, that 13 additional externally shared documents have been created and you have a total of 63 on your domain. So this is a cool thing to just take a look at. Maybe every morning when you log in, you can see you could see any spikes in activity. Maybe a huge number of additional publicly shared documents would be a concern. So this just gives you that information without any digging. The Drive Explorer will show you a listing of all of those 3,000 or so documents on this domain. With this, you have a great deal of functionality. So you could actually click on any set of documents, even all docs on your domain if you so choose, and you can edit the permissions. So this might look like changing the owner of these documents. If someone has left your domain, then you would want to be sure to transfer the ownership of all of their docs to someone else. You could do that here and then decide if you want the current owner to be left on as an editor, a viewer, or just to remove them completely. You can also add or remove collaborators for documents. If, again, someone has left your domain, you probably want to remove them as a collaborator from every document. And then also you can change the sharing settings. So in the case of selecting all of your documents, maybe it's your first time logging in, and it would be nice to lock down all of your documents to only being shared within the domain. So this is how you can do that. Just select only people at your domain can find and access, and all of those sharing settings will be immediately changed. You can also click into any document. So if I go ahead and look at this one, by clicking in further, in this case editing a spreadsheet, I will be given full access to this spreadsheet and be added as a collaborator and be able to make any kind of edits. So this is a powerful tool for you as the admin. Maybe someone is out of town and you really need to get access to a doc and then maybe share it out to someone else. You could use this to do that. Each document does have an audit history, so you can always tell, in the case of multiple admins, you can always tell different actions that have been taken for an individual doc. From this screen, you can also see the sharing settings, so who is currently shared on a document, whether they're internal or external users, and you can modify those from here as well. One of the more powerful tools within the Drive Explorer are all of these filtering options. So if you do have hundreds of thousands of docs on your domain and you're looking for something in particular or a subset of docs, that can be pretty time consuming to sort through. So using the filters, maybe you are looking for a folder on your domain. In this case, we can just select the document type, folder, and then filter that even further to say owned by a user. And then you could filter one more time to really get down to one or two docs that you're looking for. Another handy filtering option would be shared with. So maybe you're concerned with your users sharing with their personal Gmail accounts. You could actually filter by a user's account or just an entire domain. So in this case, all of these documents are shared with gmail.com, which probably indicates a personal account. And then you could go in and click all and then remove a collaborator. So from within the Drive Explorer, you can take mostly reactive. It's mostly a reactive approach to the way that your documents are being shared. And in order to be more proactive and to prevent that from even happening in the first place, you can create drive sharing policies. So as I said, these are in place to prevent your users from sharing maybe publicly or externally at all. And you can decide how you want to handle that. If the documents are automatically corrected once they've been attempted to be shared, or if you would prefer to notify that user or maybe a supervisor and let them decide how to take action. So you can set up sharing policies for 3 different levels, for everyone on your domain, for an organizational unit, or for an individual user. The way that the hierarchy works is that policies set up for individuals, those take precedence over the other levels. So if Albert Einstein can share anyway but publicly, but he's also a member of everyone who has more stringent settings, he'll always be able to share according to the policy set up for him as an individual. So if I were to create a policy, we have some summer interns, so I will set up a policy for them. So here, this is just a simple toggle. Maybe we don't want them to be able to share publicly with a link externally at all, unless maybe they're collaborating with one of our partners. So you can add a whitelist, or oppositely, you can add a blacklist. And in these additional settings, this is where you can choose to automatically correct the violations. And then you can notify other people about the violations as well. So in the case of an intern, maybe we would want to notify their supervisor also. And in this last step, you just review the policy, and then it is created. In the Sharing Policy Performance tab, you can keep tabs on the way that these policies are performing. So if your users are requesting exceptions, maybe the interns really would like to be able to share a certain presentation externally, they can request an exception, and here you can keep track of if that's been approved or denied. And then the last piece of the Drive tab would be externally owned docs. So all of these are documents that have been created outside of your domain and then shared within. You can't take action on these documents because they're not under your jurisdiction within your domain, but it is helpful to know. So you can use this to filter and determine if maybe one of your competitors has shared 100 docs with a user. And again, this is mostly for your information and for empowerment. Now we'll move into reports. So we've recently revamped our reporting engine, and you have pretty extensive capabilities as far as gaining insights and metrics on your domain. So these are a list of, this is a list of all of the CAN reports. These are just commonly requested and helpful reports that we've already built. So you can run any of these. Maybe you would like to see who is getting their email forwarded. You would just click on that and then click Run Report, and that will export to your Google Drive. So aside from the CAN reports, you also have a report builder. So you can create something very custom, and we've made available all of the fields possible given the APIs. So you can build a report based on your users, groups, OUs, Drive, or Drive policies. And in order to build these out, you would just select your type of report and then drag and drop any of these columns. And if you would like to get even more detailed and limit the results that you're returning, you could add in a couple of filters as well. Filters are really meant to just pare down your results. You can add in any kind of conditional statement or some different stipulations, but the columns are really the bulk of the report. So again, once you have built this to your liking, you can save the report to run later, or you can just run it one time, and again, that will export to your drive. You have a few other options here, so you can see quota reports, and that would pertain to your users' documents and email quotas. And then you also have audit and activity logs. The major difference between the two is the activity logs are meant to just indicate when actions are started and finished. So you will see either a green, yellow, or red bar depending on if this action is in progress, it had an error, or it completed successfully. You don't really have many details within these logs, so for that you would want to look at your audit logs. These will tell you very detailed information about each action that's been taken in FlashPanel and which admin actually initiated it. So in this case, you get a timestamp every time something has been searched for, changed, a password reset has been enforced, anything like that, and you can actually filter by a number of different categories to really return the results that you need. With this information, you could also use the filters to maybe keep tabs on when all of your syncs have been completing and then export that to a spreadsheet. So outside of reporting, you also have tools. The tools down the center here are kind of being spotlighted within FlashPanel. These are really helpful, and what I hear most users are taking advantage of the most. So the first being email signatures. By creating a signature, you can apply this to all or just some of the users within your domain, and that'll just append a custom signature to everyone's outgoing emails and create a really consistent look for your domain. So you could start from scratch and use all of these contact fields on the right to make something custom. Or you could use one of our existing templates and just modify that a little bit. So here's an example of a template, and you can use this preview feature to see what it would look like for any user in your domain. This is not actually utilizing any of these contact fields, but if you were to replace this with maybe a first name, then you can see how that would look. You have a couple of other options here as well. You can add in a logo, social media links, quotes, change the fonts, colors, anything that you want, and you also have access to the source field. So if you're great with HTML, you can also code something completely custom. Once you have your signature set up the way that you would like it, here you can decide who to apply it to. So as this help text says, you can apply the signature to users, groups, OUs,